nice. I've hauled some more books. Well, today we have another haul video, but this time it's not my fault, I swear. I am innocent. Most of these were gifted to me, okay? So don't come at me about adding to my shelf. Okay, so we all know I'm the only one who's going to be coming at me, but you know, I just have to say that for the sake of my conscience. Yes, I have added books to my shelf, and I'm not at the same rate at which I have gotten rid of them. But it's my birthday month. That's what's going to happen, right? So here we are. I have been gifted books. My name is Anne. This is my channel, In Search of Wonder. Welcome. Let's talk about the books I got for my birthday and otherwise. First of all, this was not a birthday gift. My Son John by Jim Aylesworth. So this is based on the fun little nursery rhyme slash folk song. Little dumpling, my son John went to bed with his stockings on. Although this says trousers. One shoe off and one shoe on. Little dumpling, my son John. But it's really fun because first of all, it has these like woodcut drawings. You can see. But also it goes through John's whole day. And so it starts with, yellow, yellow sun up, my son Ed. Up he jumps from out of bed. On go pants and wool shirt red. Yellow, yellow sun up, my son Ed. And it has these colors and everything. So, Rosie, Rosie Robin with a wool dress blue. Mary, Mary Maple. So it has all of these different colors. And things and different children as it goes through the course of a day. Ending with John with his stockings on. That is for work. Because I use that song to teach certain rhythms. And I used to have that book at the school where I used to work. But apparently it was from their library, not mine. And so I didn't take it with me. And then every time I go to teach those rhythms or whatever, I think, oh, I'll use that book. And then I go to grab the book and I'm like, oh, I don't have that book. So I finally ordered it from Amazon and it was like $2 from a reseller. So let's see if I can share these in the order in which I received them. Oh, the other one that I have that I want to share that was not gifted to me. Well, okay, it wasn't for my birthday, but I also didn't pay for it. So you may have seen in a recent vlog where I talked about how my sister manages an online estate auction company and I help her occasionally with pickups because it's online estate auctions, but people purchase locally and they come and they have to pick up in person. So they don't ship the items. You have to be able to pick them up locally. I helped with one of the pickups. Some of them are cleanouts, which means that the terms of the contract are everything has to be gone out of the house, everything. And so whatever is left over after the sale, they will have a junk company come and just take everything and do whatever junk companies do with it. I don't know, like, do they put it in a landfill? I really don't know. So at this particular auction, it was one of those clean out situations and someone had purchased a lot for one specific item, but they didn't want anything else that was in the lot. So they just left it there. And so it was books, children's books. And I already showed how I got some. I donated some to my school. I put some on my Pango. This one I decided to keep. And that was this really nice hardcover copy of Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, which I do not have. And this is the kind of hardcover, I don't know what you call this, like the kind of hardcover that doesn't have a slip cover. It's just the hardcover. And I really like that. Because I really don't like slip covers, actually. So I like that. I had some wonderful surprise mail packages from friends here on BookTube, which I just appreciate so much. I'm so grateful and thankful for those. This first one was from Kelly at Bookish Kelly, and it's signed it's signed here by the author, Rachel Dodge, which is so cool. So thank you for that, Kelly. And it is Praying with Jane, 31 Days Through the Prayers of Jane Austen. Now, I first had heard about this from Shatona, and she had sent me last year, I think, Jane Austen's prayers. So prayers that Jane Austen had actually written. But at the time, she also recommended this book, Praying with Jane, which is devotionals based on Jane Austen's prayers, and I'm guessing some other elements from her books. I don't really know. It's just devotionals based on stuff to do with Jane Austen. And you know, I love anything Jane Austen related. So I am looking forward to reading through that devotional. So thank you, Kelly, for that. And my sister gave to me a couple of books. She went through my Goodreads TBR and looked for books that she thought might be, that were of interest to her, I guess. And so she told me that if I don't want to read them, that she would read them. So those are the best kind of gifts, right? When both people are interested in them. Anyway, so one is nonfiction and one is fiction. This is They Turned the World Upside Down, A Storyteller's Journey with Those Who Dared to Follow Jesus by Charles Martin. Now, Charles Martin, he writes really, really, really well. Like, he's an excellent author, and I would recommend his books. However, there are two things I don't get along with his fiction writing. One is that the pacing is a little slow. So there's that, which wouldn't be in and of itself a deal breaker. But all of his books that I have read, all of them have had very graphic medical emergency scenes in them, including graphic descriptions of ad hoc surgery. And by ad hoc surgery, I mean surgery that takes place in something other than a sterile hospital room or clinic. And even that, I wouldn't want to read. I wouldn't want to read it in the best of settings, but in settings where you don't have the proper equipment or a proper sanitary place to do the surgery, and you're doing surgery on somebody and describing it graphically, I don't like that. Not at all. And that's happened in at least 2 of the books I've read by him. And then there's been other like graphic medical things like that in other books. And so I gave up on him. However, this is about the disciples. And so because I do like his writing, I think that I really will enjoy this. Let me just read a little bit of the blurb. Walk in the shoes of the disciples as New York Times bestselling author Charles Martin brings their stories to life with his storyteller's perspective. In the first century, believer didn't just mean someone who heard and agreed with Jesus. It meant someone who acted on that belief. And when the outside world saw the faith of these new believers, they declared they turned the world upside down. That's the kind of believer Charles Martin wants us to be. I am looking forward to reading that. So yeah, and hopefully there are no surgery scenes. And then this one, I don't even know where I came across this one. First of all, the cover is gorgeous, and that's half the reason I put it on my TBR. But also, I believe I was intrigued by the storyline. It's called The Library of Legends by Janie Chen. And it says China 1937. This is the second book I have set in that time frame. Anyway, I really need to read both of them. When Japanese bombs begin falling on the city of Nanking, 19-year-old Hu Lian and her classmates at Minghua University are ordered to flee. Lian and a convoy of students, faculty, and staff must walk 1,000 miles to safety. Wow. A journey marred by the constant threat of aerial attack. And it is not just the refugees who are at risk. The group has been entrusted with a priceless treasure, a 500-year-old collection of myths and folklore known as the Library of Legends. So, I really don't know anything else about it, but I'm intrigued and I'm curious, and I love the gorgeous cover. So, I do want to read that one. And then Alma at Alma's Book Journey sent me a couple books as well. And we're hoping to buddy read this one, which is Passing by Nella Larson. This has been on my TBR for so long. And I should have put it on my 50 by 50, but I don't think I did for some reason. I should have, because it is one of those books that I really want to read. Ever since I heard about it many years ago, I'm very intrigued by it. And so I've been wanting to read it, but I didn't have a copy of it. So now I have a copy of it thanks to Alma. So it's going to get bumped up my TBR. And then this one also I heard about several years ago, and I might get to this year. Breaking Bread with the Dead, A Reader's Guide to a More Tranquil Mind by Alan Jacobs, who also wrote How to Think. Alan Jacobs and Mortimer Adler, I think, are two authors that I want to read more of them and their thoughts on reading and literature and thinking and that kind of thing. So this says, what can Homer teach us about force? How does Frederick Douglass deal with the massive blind spots of America's founding fathers? What can we learn from modern authors who engage passionately and profoundly with the past? How can Ursula K. Le Guin show us truths about Virgil's female characters that Virgil himself could never have seen? Breaking Bread with the Dead offers a literary guide to engaging with the voices of the past to stay sane in the present. And I just love that idea. And books about books, say less. And then finally, Sarah Collar sent this book to me. And I heard about this one. It was in a Jane Austen July, I think, a couple years ago. And I've been wanting to read it ever since, but I haven't gotten around to it. It's a classic. It was originally published in 1902. And so this is one that's like, it's a scanned version of that 1902 book. Okay. And I think it's probably like independently published. What is that called? Print to order or whatever. By Constance Hill. And it's called Jane Austen, Her Homes and Her Friends. So Constance Hill, and I think that her sister maybe did it with her. They went to Jane Austen's homes, and I think they were also able to meet some people who knew her. And this is about their journey, who they met and what they saw and they experienced, kind of like a memoir of their trip. Anyway, it's a memoir of I think it was Constance and her sister. I want to say this just says Constance Hill as the author, but I feel like her sister was with her on the journey, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, it is a memoir a travel memoir of their journey through to Jane Austen's different places where she lived and her homes and the people that they were able to meet. And also I think they had some access to like some manuscripts and some artifacts and other things that they were able to look at and see and examine. And they share about that as well. So again, all the Jane Austen things right up my alley. That is my final one to share for now. I did have a couple of other non-bookish things that I wanted to show you. First of all, a friend of mine at church, she hasn't known me very long, but her birthday gift for me was like spot on. I was like, you know me. Like, you haven't known me very long, but you know me perfectly. First of all, she gave me this mug, and I'm going to turn off the light so there's not a glare so you can see. It says books and coffee on there. So, perfect. And then she also gave me, this doesn't have anything to do with books, but she gave me this bracelet that is a diffuser. So you put oils in there. And this is the card that she gave me also. And she has like the most beautiful lettering ever. Also amazing. Okay, and then I also wanted to show you the card that one of my sisters gave me. Hoping your birthday is quite literarily the best. Stack of books. Perfect. Finally, the sister who manages the online estate auction, she very often finds things that she knows I will like in the auctions because I don't always keep on top of them. I don't always bid, and I rarely win things I'm looking for. So she will occasionally find things for me. And so that was part of her gift to me. She got me these 2 sets of bookends. Here is one. So these are Liars, and they are made in Israel. So you can see that there. The owner of the house where she got this one from had spent some time in Israel, I believe. So had gotten them there. I'm gonna have to ask her to tell me the story again, because she told me there's more to the story about them. I can't remember now what it was. And then she also got me these bookends, which are music notes, which I love. So these are going to get incorporated into my bookshelves for sure. Both of these sets of bookends. So that is my birthday book haul, almost all of which was gifted to me. So I take zero responsibility for any of it. and I will just enjoy each and every single one of them. Thank you to all of you who took the time to think of me and send me a gift. I really appreciate it very much from the bottom of my heart. And I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Let me know if I should prioritize any of these books that I have received, or if you have any thoughts about them. And I will see you next time. Bye. A quick addendum to my haul. In between the time I filmed the last one and was ready to edit and upload, I got a couple more things, so I just wanted to tack them onto this one. First of all, some more fun book mail for my birthday. This one was from Jamie, who has an Instagram channel, Read Brucey, and also she's very active on live events here on YouTube, so I'm sure you've seen her around. And she sent me Into a Golden Era, Gabrielle Meyer's latest book in the Timeless series, which I am very excited to dive into this, hopefully sooner rather than later. And then I was at a thrift store today and I saw this, and I think I may have seen it there before, but today I picked it up because it seemed appropriate. And that is American Notes, A Journey by Charles Dickens. So this is a nonfiction book by Charles Dickens. It's his account of traveling to the United States. And I have always been curious about it. I haven't finished reading his novels yet, but I love his writing and I'm slowly working my way through them. And I am very interested in reading this one eventually. This year seems like it would be a good year to do that with the 250th anniversary of the US. So I would love to. Maybe it would be a good thing to add to my Victober TBR, or sooner, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, very curious about this one. So that is officially my May birthday haul.